So hello everyone, welcome to the next in our series of Cat at Home. So my name is Richard Maddocks and I am the Backhoe Loader Product and Application Specialist here at Caterpillar, and I'm responsible for the Africa and Middle East region. Now normally my job would involve coming out across Africa, Middle East, coming and meeting our dealers, meeting our customers like yourself, seeing your machines in action, listening to your feedback on machines, and then taking that back to the Backhoe Loader product group here at Caterpillar, and then making improvements on the machine or making changes based upon customer feedback. Now, unfortunately, due to the current situation, it's not possible to travel at the moment, so we're trying to reach our customers in different kinds of ways. So this is one of those. So today I am coming from home. I'm based in a small village about 10 kilometres away from our Backhoe Loader factory in Leicester in the UK. I'm going to take the opportunity today to speak to you about the Caterpillar 426F2 Backhoe Loader. So please use this opportunity to ask us any questions you have, any comments about the machine. Even if you're watching this later on, so you're not watching live, please drop a comment into the box below and someone in our team will get back to you. So moving on, we introduced the 426 into the market in 2017, and this was a complementary model to our well-known F2 series. So it became clear to us that Africa and the Middle East were growing Backhoe Loader markets, and we needed a machine that was designed for those markets. We know out in Africa, Middle East, the conditions can be tough. These machines are working many hours a day. They need to be durable, reliable, as with all Caterpillar machines, but we made a few changes to our 426 to bring you a machine that was specifically designed for the region. So our engineers spent a good few years traveling around, speaking to customers, speaking to dealers across the region, understanding what's important for them in the Backhoe Loader. And then the result of that was the 426 that, as I said, we introduced in 2017. So this was designed and engineered following extensive customer feedback. And then we put a few machines out to test with customers from across the region, gaining more feedback over time before introducing it in 2017. So there's a few points that we wanted to make sure we touched upon when designing this machine. So we wanted to keep it very similar to the 428F2. This had been in the market for many years, highly successful machine. So a lot of the parts are the same as on the 428F2. But we also knew that we had to keep owning and operating costs as low as possible for you guys. So it's not just about the purchase of the machine, but as you run this machine for thousands of hours across its lifetime, we need to keep those operating costs as low as possible. And we wanted to keep it as simple to operate and maintain as well. So in many regions, you could be working in extremely remote areas where access to dealers, it could take them a few hours to get out to come and visit you. So we wanted a machine that is easy to operate and you could carry out some of that daily maintenance yourself. So we've now sold this to multiple countries across the region. It's very widely accepted in the market. We've got some machines out there with over 10,000 hours on them, so customers are really getting the most out of this new 426. Since its introduction in 2017, we've made a few updates and changes, which means we've been able to put this into other markets around the world as well. But today we're focused on the Africa and Middle East market. So I'm just going to go through a few of the key points on here. So as I said about the 428F2, this was a highly successful machine that had been in the market for many years. So we didn't want to lose some of those key features from the 428. So a few examples here. The excavator style boom, hopefully you can see some of the pictures here on the screen. This excavator style boom, it it's fair to say that this has become iconic to Cat Backhoe Loaders since it was introduced on our machines, and this helps boost productivity in a number of ways. You can see here, truck loading, we can get extremely close to the truck, allowing for quicker loading cycles. And then as well, our bucket linkage has 205 degrees of rotation. So when we're picking all of that material up, we can scoop that right round, and with 205 degrees of bucket rotation, we're getting extremely good material retention there. So we can get close to trucks, quicker loading cycles, so we can move on to the next job quicker, making this more productive for you. And as well, if we're operating around obstacles, so we may be moving material over a fence or trying to excavate over a fence, that excavator style boom will give us longer reach and more dig depth over obstacles as well. So you're having to reposition your machine less during each job. So excavator style boom, always been iconic to Cat Backhoe Loaders, so we made sure that we kept that with the 426. And now rear diff lock as well. All Cat Backhoe Loaders come with rear diff lock, so this is really important when you're working on poor ground condition, poor underfoot conditions. So if it's really muddy or really sandy, as we're driving across a job site or driving into a pile to try and load some material, we can start to lose traction in those back wheels, and one of them can start to spin. But by pressing the diff lock button on the loader lever, that locks the rear differential together, and then will deliver equal drive to both tyres. So that allows you to get out of that sticky, muddy situation. Or if you're truck loading, you can drive straight into the pile, get the most force into that pile and win that material and get back out. So diff lock, excavator style boom, that's just two of the features on the 426 that help make this a more productive machine for you. Moving on to our next point, maintenance made easy. As with all Cat Backhoe Loaders, we try and make maintenance as easy as possible for you. If something's easy to do, it often gets done. So I just wanted to talk about a few of those features. On the left here, you can see the easy access to all the daily service points. So our service guy here, measuring engine oil, we've got transmission oil, hydraulic oil. You can check all of those daily from a safe point on top of the fuel tank. Everything is well laid out underneath the hood, getting access to all of those key points. And then on top of the engine, we can't quite see it here, but there's a nice decal that shows where all the different grease points are on the machine. Top right, this was one of the biggest bits of feedback that we had from customers across the region as we were going out and listening to what people wanted from the new Caterpillar machines. So visible pre-cleaner, we were asked to bring this back. We know that across Africa and the Middle East, you're often working in real sandy, dusty environments. So we want to protect that engine as much as possible. So we've added this visible pre-cleaner onto the outside of the machine. You can see over time as dust starts to grow in this pre-cleaner bowl, that's protecting that dust. It's not even getting close to the engine filter. So we're giving longer protection to the engine. And then each day, as you start to see this dust grow, you can empty that out, put it back on and go again. So we're trying to prevent against dusted engines and that kind of thing. This was one of the biggest bits of feedback we got when traveling around the region. So we gave this to you on the Cat 426 machine. And then hinge cooling pack as well. So you can just about see the top of the grill here. This grill has opened up, and then a couple of quick twist screws allows the cooling packs to come open. And then we can get in between that with a brush or air cleaner to clear out any dust, debris that might be in there. You can see in the background, there's a lot of greenery, long grass. If any of that is getting sucked in, that can prevent proper cooling of the engine. So being able to get in between those cooling packs allows for better cooling over time. So again, maintenance made easy. we know how important it is to carry out these daily maintenance tasks, keep the machine running nice. If it's easy, it gets done. And then the next slide. So low owning and operating costs. Now, on this machine, we've got the CAT 3054C engine. So this is the same engine that's been in the market for many years now. 4-litre diesel engine delivering peak performance and power with low fuel consumption at the same time. And then our variable displacement piston pump twinned with our load sensing hydraulic system. This is the real magic in the machine. So the load sensing system will only deliver flow where it is needed, ensuring that the pump is not working when not required. So, for example, if we're roading the machine, we don't need that hydraulic pump sending lots of oil around the machine, so it won't be working. But then when we're doing some light excavation, for example, we can turn those engine revs right down, and that variable displacement piston pump will still deliver full power. So when trenching, we can turn the engine revs down, save on fuel, but still get full power out to the hydraulics, allowing you to dig your trench. If you need to speed the hydraulics up slightly, we can bump the engine RPM up a bit. It will give you a little bit more flow and speed, but otherwise we're able to do a number of jobs at low engine RPM, thus saving the operator, the owner of these machines, as much fuel as possible. We know that fuel is one of the biggest, largest ongoing costs in these machines. So we do everything we can to try and make these machines as fuel efficient as possible. So I've spoken about 10 minutes on some of the features of the 426, why we introduced it to the market 3 years ago. But what have some of our customers said since this has been introduced? So there's just a few comments here, different customers across the region. And what we'll do is we'll share a couple of custom testimonial videos in the comments at the end. So please, after you've watched this Facebook Live or watched this on record at a later date, have a look at some of our customer testimonial videos and listen to what people out in the field have had to say about our machines. Just a few points to bring out, as we just spoke about easy maintenance. So we've got a customer here saying, does all of his own maintenance, it is easy. Another customer here, he'd done some costs, and he said that having a 426F2 against his previous machines had allowed him to save $2,500 a year in fuel alone. So that's a huge amount of savings straight into his back pocket. It was almost like taking home another wage for him. In comfort as well, the machines are extremely comfortable. I remember another operator saying to me in South Africa that he can sit in his machine all day and he doesn't get out feeling tired or having any aches and pains. It's extremely comfortable and will even take his lunch in there. He just loves sitting in that cab all day. There's a few more comments on there as well. And like I said, we will add some customer testimonial videos into the comments for you to take another look at what some of our customers are saying. So in summary, this machine was designed and engineered to meet the expectations that we see in the African and Middle Eastern markets. It's easy to operate and maintain. You're getting the same performance and reliability that you've grown to expect from Caterpillar machines, and that's coupled with low owning and operating costs. So I could talk about this machine all day. I often do when I'm out there in the field with customers, but I wanted to keep it nice and brief today to allow you to ask us any questions that you may have. So at this point, I am going to stop sharing my screen, and hopefully I can see some of the questions that people have been asking. So we'll see if there's any questions from anybody out there today. So low owning and operating costs on the 426 versus the 428. This is from Dimitri. So some of the oil capacities are slightly lower. So when your service intervals, you're having to put less oil back into the machine. The 426 has a slightly smaller pump on it as well. So that smaller pump, it's creating less pull on the engine, so the engine isn't having to work as hard. So there's a few small bits that do lower the owning and operating costs on the 426 compared to the 428 machine. Dimitri again, thank you. So the rear axle is 100% diff lock on the 426, and that is the same on all Caterpillar backhoe loaders. All of them are equipped with a 100% rear differential. It's not a limited slip differential. 100% locking diff. A question from Anastasia. What will be the best fit for hammers on this model range? And is there any plans to have joysticks on the 426F2? So Caterpillar's recently introduced a new range of hammers, the B series hammers. So these should be out there with your local dealers right now. The best hammer fit for the 426F2 is the B6 hammer. So plenty of our dealers are starting to get this in stock now. So if you speak to your local Cat dealer, they should be able to help you out with that. And then the second question, is there any plans to have joysticks on the 426F2? So our 426F2 is controlled with mechanical controls at the moment. We do not have joysticks on there. There's not any plans to put them on there just yet, but we're constantly going out there to the field, getting feedback from customers and operators across the region, and taking that back. So maybe one day we'll get there, but as of now, there is no plans to put joysticks on the 426. So a question from Jamie Ramsey, what work tools are available on the 426? So we've got a huge range of work tools, and obviously a backhoe loader is an extremely versatile machine. So we offer a GP bucket on the front, MP bucket. We can fit brooms, blades, and then on the rear of the machine, we've got a wide range of hoe buckets, hammers, as we just spoke about, augers, planers. There's tons of work tools out there. So if you speak to your local Cat dealer or visit cat.com and look at the work tools, you can see what's available for our 426. Salim, can buckets for 428 be used on the 426? Yes, that's a very good question. Thank you. One that does come up quite a lot. So all of the work tools that you may have had on your 428 backhoe loader, they can be used on the 426. So both the loader linkage and the hoe linkage is exactly the same between the 428 and the 426. So any work tools that you may have had on a 428 Cat backhoe loader can be used on a 426, yes. Okay, lots of questions. Dimitri, another question, thank you. Will the B8 hammer perform well on the 426, or is B6 show more performance? So you will actually get, both hammers are suitable for the 426. The B8 being a slightly larger hammer, you'll probably get a little bit more performance out of that than the B6, but either of those will work absolutely fine on the Cat 426 machine. We're just finding more dealers are choosing to fit the B6 hammer. Question from Mark Mulligan. Hi, Mark. Can these machines be shipped in containers? So yes, we did a lot of work during the introduction of this to ensure that machines can be shipped in containers. So 2 Cat 426s will be shipped from our factory in a container to our dealers. So that means that these are well protected during the shipping process. No one can get access to these machines throughout that shipping process. As soon as that leaves the factory to landing in the dealer's yard, those machines are safe in a container. How would the 426 fare against the 428 head-to-head? So that's a good question. We did some testing during the, I guess, the design and development of the 426, and we wanted to keep it as close as possible to the 428 performance-wise. So we have some numbers out there. The 426 performs just as well as the 428 when loading and roading. On the back end, the cylinders are slightly smaller on the 426. So in heavy craning or deep excavation, we do see a small performance drop from the 428 to the 426. But if you're in a light trenching application or something like that, the differences are extremely small. It was very important to us to make sure that we tried to match the 428 performance where we could. So lots of questions today. That looks like it might be the last one. Thank you for joining me today and your engagement in this latest in the series of Cat at Home videos. Please, if you've not liked the page, click like below. We'll be doing a number of these across the coming weeks, a number of different topics. I'll be back in May to talk about Cat Backhoe Loaders in Europe again, where we've got some exciting updates to share with our European market. But for today, thank you again for joining us. Stay safe and hope to see you soon. Thank you.